Hello, people of the internet. It is me. I am back. And I am going to talk about American Psycho and whether or not I think Patrick Bateman did actually murder all those people or not. And keep in mind, I am very bad with names, and I'm going to keep accidentally calling him Paul Allen. So, with that said, let me get right into the analysis. I'm going to preface this with saying that I do think Patrick did all of those things. I think he did all the things. I think he's still crazy. Like, obviously, the ATM didn't actually tell him to feed it a stray cat. By the way, spoilers for American Psycho if you haven't seen them. But I do think he did kill all those people. And my evidence, as I will read it here, is to why I think that is, or what evidence I have towards my claim. And I think no claim is 100% correct, but so you can all have your own ideas of what you think happened, and that be valid as long as you can, back it up. But anyways, one thing of note is that everyone is the same person, as pointed out by Chelsea Rebecca in her kill count of American Psycho. With the business card scene, you see all the talk of different fonts and different cardstock, but they all look basically the same. That's the same with all the men in this, aside from Lewis to an extent. They all look the same, or vaguely the same, to the point where they keep confusing each other for other people. Like with Paul Allen, he keeps calling Bateman Marcus, I don't remember the guy's last name. And then Bateman himself points out that it makes sense why he would mistake him for someone else, for Marcus specifically, because they work in the same department and they have the same hairstylist, though Bateman says he thinks his hairstyle or his haircut is slightly better, but that's still not much compared to how alike they are. Another thing, someone on Reddit pointed out, u/chocolate, I think is how you pronounce it, says Bateman has a lot of homosexual tendencies, and that probably leads him to, and his dad probably didn't want him to be gay, so he might have abused him, and that's why Bateman acts the way he does. That's why Bateman is crazy, and maybe that's why he's a sociopath, because that's what love is to him. It's pain. But he has these homosexual tendencies, like how much he knows in fashion, which we only ever see in another person with Lewis, who we know is gay to some extent. He might still love his partner, but I don't know. I can't say for sure. But we know he is gay, and he did have a crush on Bateman, and Bateman has homophobia and maybe internalized homophobia because he doesn't want to accept that he might also like dudes. Some more evidence for him being gay. Oh, and also some of his other tendencies, Chocolate points out. He has a very adamant hygiene, which could be, he wants to look perfect. And very specifically with a lot of the music he listens to, and he knows a lot about it, along with some other traits, but I think those are less blatantly homosexual. And another thing is in the first like scene where he's with those two prostitutes and he's just going all out, he's not paying much attention to them. He's looking more at himself and his muscles and abs, which could be a translation of his homosexuality, the fact that he could be gay. And so he isn't really interested in the women he's currently with. He's more interested in looking at his perfect body. I don't think bodies like that are too attractive, but that's just my personal preference. Along with all of that, some evidence towards him not being guilty is his lawyer saying he saw Paul Allen in London 10 days ago and had dinner with him twice. But we also saw his lawyer mistake Bateman himself, his own client, for someone else, lending to the thing that they all look the same. They're all like fighting to be the same person, as Chelsea puts it. But he mistakes Bateman for someone else, and we know from the detective played by Willem Dafoe earlier in the movie that someone else thought they saw Paul Allen in London as well, but it turned out to be someone else. And Paul Allen wasn't there. Or Paul Allen at least wasn't the person he saw. So maybe the lawyer who has been shown to mistake even his own client for someone else mistook another person for Paul Allen and thought he had dinner with Paul Allen. So, also, what really got me to thinking he actually did it is the home seller, the realtor, at the end of the movie, who says it is not Paul Allen's place and is trying to get Bateman to leave, and seems really eager about it too. Like, doesn't want him to be there, probably because she knows there was bodies there the night before. Or not the night before, but like the week before, I think he said specifically. And yeah, that's about it. But back to what Chelsea was saying, it would hit harder, the monologue at the end would hit harder if he actually did it, like, because they're all like the same person, and it could be a commentary, as the movie as a whole is a commentary on the upper white class, and that could aid in that comparison, because he could kill like 10, 20, 40 people, and he's still no different than anyone else around him, because they're all, because the upper class is a class that can get away with things like that. And we saw that when he was dragging Paul Allen's body out of his apartment, the man just turned a blind eye, essentially, even though there was visibly blood coming out of that bag, and it was for sure a body. As for, like, Patrick's confessions and stuff, I don't think he did actually confess to anything, like the mergers and acquisitions, or murders or executions bit. I think he never outright says it because people are so chill about what's supposedly him admitting to murdering people. I don't think he's actually saying it out loud. He's just he's just thinking he's saying all of that stuff. But anyways, that is going to be my analysis on American Psycho. I think he did do all those things, and yeah, I'll be back whenever I feel like making another video. Thank you. Goodbye.